Hey, this video is about masculine and feminine flow in business. I'm Allison Braun, the business joyologist, and I just asked the question in my group, Clarity to Clients, around what you want to hear about from me a little bit more. What questions do you have? My bracelets are getting a little jingly, so I'm going to take those off. What questions do you have? And one of the questions that came up was, what's my relationship with weaving in the feminine flow into masculine structures? And because that is something that I utilize a lot, and I talk a lot about flow, keeping the flow in business. So my relationship has been a little bit of a journey when it comes to the masculine and feminine flow in business. I tend to be fairly logical, and I like to have structures in place to have things be really practical. But as I've been weaving in more and more spirituality into my business and into my life, my intuition has really, really increased. And that has been something that I've always utilized in some way, shape, or form in my work and in my life, to allow the masculine structures to really emphasize the effectiveness, but also the efficiency. I'm a huge fan of keeping things really simple and not doing anything more than what we actually need to in order to get the results that we want. So for myself, I've never wanted to work really hard. Efficiently, yes, and to get the results, yes. But to keep it as joyful as possible and as simple as possible. And so what I've discovered is weaving in the feminine and the masculine together, helping them to have like a really strong dance and relationship in my business has allowed for that simpleness, the speed of results to really happen with as much ease as possible. And so what that has looked like for me is using my intuition first and foremost. So it gets really easy for me to want to look at like structures and like launch strategy and to keep things really logical and strategic, which is fine, but just doing that has very little results if it's not in alignment, if it's not woven in with what your soul is really calling for, with what your intuition is guiding you towards. So by weaving them together, it's far more effective. So what I have to remind myself of really regularly is to tap into my intuition first before implementing the strategy. So letting the masculine support the feminine and letting the feminine guide the masculine. Because then it takes a lot less work. You're only having to do exactly what you need to do to get the best results. So what that might look like is having a ceremony, which is completely intuitively guided in itself. For me, it typically looks like playing with a lot of crystals and water. So having a ceremony, setting my intention around what I want things to feel like, what I want them to look like, what I want the experience to be like in my business. And then using that information to see what specifics I can get that I need for the strategy and the structure. And then using that information around the feelings, any specific guidances that I get from my intuition, and then letting the masculine take that information and apply the best structures to go along with it. So if you tend to be more masculine or structures, logic-oriented, I invite you to look at how you can weave in your feminine side, the structures, the relaxing to receive a little bit more in your business. And if you tend to be more intuitive-based and feminine and into that flow, I invite you to look at how you can implement some more strategy and container to hold that feminine side to get the best results. So just looking at where your strengths and your natural tendencies to go are, and looking at how you can weave in the opposite to support you even more in the growth of your business. So I hope that helps. If you have any more questions, reach out. You can find out more about me, business, and practical tips that you can apply at AllisonBraun.com. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.